Today I'm going to review a Twilight Zone episode, and this one's called Nick of Time.
For 1 penny, they'll be able to look into the future. And what this young couple doesn't realize is that this town happens to lie on the outskirts of the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone, Nick of Time, was broadcast on November the 18th, 1960. It's from Season 2, Episode 7. And the Twilight Zone did 5 seasons and 156 episodes altogether. Nick of Time was directed by Richard L. Bear and written by Richard Matheson. It runs 24 minutes and stars William Shatner, who was also in another Twilight Zone episode called Nightmare at 20,000 Feet from Season 5. And Richard Matheson wanted Pat Breslin to be in that episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, playing William Shatner's wife, as he thought she was so good in this episode. However, she wasn't available to play the part at the time. Nick of Time stars William Shatner as Don Carter and Patricia Breslin as Pat Carter. And Rod Serling also does the narration at the beginning and the end of the episode. So the plot of this one's about this object that can tell the fortunes of people who put a penny in it. Newlyweds Don and Pat Carter enter a cafe diner in a small town and have their fortunes told by this machine. However, it sucks them in because they get obsessed with getting the fortunes read. Hey, Phil, I know what I'd bloody ask it. What the bloody lottery numbers were. Yes, that's a good question, Bones. I'd ask that too. William Shatner's celebrating his 92nd birthday this year. He was only 29 when he made this, and he's great in the part as he slowly gets obsessed with this fortune-telling device. So at first he's just passing the time, putting a penny in and like getting these messages on a slip of paper. And he doesn't take it too seriously until he asks about his job, whether he's going to get the job he's gone in for. And as soon as he asks that, he gets a phone call saying he's got his job. And from then on, it becomes a little bit more weird. Fortune-telling device tells him to stay in the diner. However, he leaves with his newlywed wife as they're crossing the road and nearly get run over. So they go back to the diner, gets more and more obsessed with this fortune-telling device. Hey, Phil! Why doesn't William Shatner ask that bloody fortune-telling device why bloody George Takei's such a bloody twat with him?
I can finally say what I've waited 40 years to say. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on!
I don't know, Bones. William Shatner once said he hardly knew him.
I literally don't know him. I didn't know him very well on the series. He'd come in for a day or two. On the movies, there occasionally. I didn't know the man. But he's continued to speak badly about me.
And not just who plays his wife, she's really good in it as well. She seems to be more concerned about him. She's worried in case he's losing his mind. Because her husband's a little bit superstitious as well. He has a lucky rabbit's foot on him. She's not convinced that this object's telling the future, but he is.
It's not possible to foretell the future, is it?
That's up to you to find out.
So the tension in this episode's the use of an inanimate object, how you can make it eerie, and with good direction you can create this suspense just by focusing on an object. And it reminds me of Stephen King stories. He's good at doing that. Films like Christine, where there's a car, or the episode from Thriller. That was a good use of making an inanimate object seem as though it's menacing. So the director can simply just focus on the object in the audience's mind. They conjure all these things about the object. It's really clever how they managed to do that, filmmakers. Just leave the camera focused on an object for a little bit longer than necessary. Hey, Phil, you're as bad as him talking to inanimate objects. Eh? Why is that, Bones? Because I'm a bloody plastic skeleton, you daft bastard.
Are you okay, dude?
And the fortune-telling device has this evil-looking face as well, like a devil that's wobbling about on a spring. What I like about this is it's shot on film. Unlike, there was 6 episodes in season 2 that for an experiment to save money. They shot on videotape, but it didn't look right. It didn't look as good as when it shot on film. So I'm glad this one was done on film. And it also has a moral message as well. I like the bit where his wife's telling him not to be so superstitious, that you should live your life instead of relying on all these silly superstitious things. For instance, getting rid of his rabbit foot.
It doesn't matter whether it can foretell the future. What matters is whether you believe more in luck and in fortune than you do in yourself. You can decide your own life. You have a mind, a wonderful mind. Don't destroy it trying to justify that cheap penny fortune machine. We can have a wonderful life together. If we make it wonderful ourselves.
Another thing about this story is it's confined. Like, the majority of the story is just focuses on the two leads and just one set. So it's a great little story by Richard Matheson. He's done loads of great stories. And the episode ends with this other couple coming in, all stressed out, going towards the fortune-telling device. And that kind of symbolises that our two leads in the story had a lucky break getting away. This could have happened to them. I thought that was quite chilling, actually. And it's clever how these stories are only 24 minutes, but they can pack a whole story in 24 minutes. So I thought this was one of the better stories, so out of 10, I'd give this one 8. 8 out of 10. What do you think who wants to do, like, please? I thought it was an excellent episode, Phil. And happy birthday to William Shatner. So a happy 92nd birthday to William Shatner. He's had a great life. He's even been into space for real, because he went on one of them shuttles.
Filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary. Extraordinary.
So he's a good role model, how to live your life even when you're getting on a bit. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Like and subscribe, everyone. Bye. Bye.